Have y'all heard about this? This woman kills her boyfriend's 6-year-old child and then stuffs her in a bucket, puts her in a wagon, wheels her to the mother's house, and leaves the bucket on the front yard.
A neighbor gave us surveillance video showing what appears to be the suspect transporting the bucket. And before we show it to you, you should know that this is unsettling. You can see the woman in the distance. She is pulling a wagon with a bucket inside. The bucket was later found on the lawn of the child's biological mother, who lives nearby.
Earlier today at around 7:30 a.m., a father walked into the Harahan Police Department to report his child, along with his 43-year-old girlfriend, missing. When he woke up this morning, the 6-year-old and the 43-year-old were not in the house, although an older child was still in the house there. Reported it to the Harahan Police Department. They started investigating it as a missing person. They went to the house, started doing canvasses in that neighborhood. The mother of the biological mother of the child lives approximately 1 block away around the corner. So the investigation led to go to that location. Upon arriving at that location, they located best to be able to describe it, maybe a 10-gallon bucket. It's a chlorine bucket, large, a little larger than a 5-gallon bucket on the front lawn of the mother's house. When they opened up that bucket, they found the 6-year-old deceased inside that bucket. Turned into a homicide investigation. Obviously, at that point, homicide detectives from Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office were called out to the scene. We utilized not only our resources with the Sheriff's Office, but also used the Major Crimes Task Force to come out and try to start canvassing the neighborhood, which our attention was drawn very quickly to the missing girlfriend, who is now missing in action. Right, we could not necessarily find her. We were able to find numerous video from different households in the neighboring area, which showed her pulling a wagon down late last night with the bucket inside the back of that wagon. Ended up performing an autopsy today on the child, and we can classify the child's death as a homicide at this point in time. We ended up doing extensive interviews with both the mother and the father, the biological mother and the father. We do not believe that they are involved in any foul play involved with the death of Miss Bella Fontenelle, who is the 6-year-old that is deceased. Those interviews also continue to lead us in our investigation, looking for the suspect in this case, which I have 3 different names. Hannah Landon, which is an American name. She is described as an Asian female. Hannah Landon, H-A-N-N-A-H, last name Landon, L-A-N-D-O-N, also known as Bunak Lim, B-U-N-N-A-K, last name L-I-M, or Bunak Landon, 43-year-old Asian female. As we were doing our best in order to locate her around 2 o'clock this afternoon, we were notified that she was possibly at one of our local hospitals. We were able to locate her at one of the local hospitals. She is now in JPSO custody, where she'll hopefully later be booked with at least 1 count of first-degree murder and obstruction of justice.
The young lady, the decedent, is Bella Fontenelle. That's B-E-L-L-A. Last name is F-O-N-T-E-N-E-L-L-E, 6-year-old female. The manner of death is homicide. She has multiple injuries, and I'm not going to get into details regarding the injuries because this is still a fluid investigation with a lot of interviews that have yet to happen. So those details will come out. We're not, hiding them. We're just delaying the release of those.
Sheriff, you said the bucket was found in the yard of
It was in the front yard of the biological mother's house.
of the little girl.
Yeah, so we believe the child was killed at the father's house, which happens to be about a block away, and then transported over to the mother's house, and then taken out of a wagon. Actually, is how it was transported.
Was there issues with the girlfriend and the biological mother? Why was the child placed on the mother's front lawn?
I don't know the answers to that yet.
Do you know if the girlfriend lived with the child? And
Yes, the girlfriend lived with the biological father, and I believe they had joint custody. So at both times lived with both parties.
Did the biological mother find the bucket? Was she home at the time? Or
She was home. Harahan Police Department was there with her, but she was home at the time. That's correct.
was she the one that?
I don't know exactly. I think that bucket was determined by him. I don't know who opened it, to be honest with you.
Can you talk any more about the mental state of the girlfriend?
No, not yet. I mean, again, this has all happened within the last couple hours. Really, she got to our detective bureau while we were here. So, I mean, let my detectives work for a little bit.
Tuesday night, a neighbour's home surveillance captured this, seemingly a woman pulling a wagon with a bucket in it.
It looked as if somebody was just walking down the street pulling a wagon.
Sheriff Joe Lapinto says inside that bucket was 6-year-old Bella Fontenelle. According to the sheriff, Landon and the father had been together for several years, but reiterated that the father is not a suspect at this time.
And just when you think you have seen and heard it all, bam. I will see you in the comments, beautiful people.